obvious, clear favourites. So John Desborough is our man down by the river.
Well, the race itself starts at 2:30 this afternoon, but the crews for the race and also the coaches have been out on the Thames this morning to test the waters. Dawn on the Thames, and Oxford's crew hope today's boat race will bring a dawn of a new era. They were out early today, led by their president, the American Jeremiah McClanahan, as ever wearing his college cap the fashionable way. Both crews went for an early morning paddle today, while slowly the crowd started to build along the 4.5-mile route. There's been criticism this year that the race is too international, but Boat Race Day is still as English as fish and chips, despite the 9 international oarsmen shared by these two crews. Cambridge are favourites this year, but Oxford hold the record for the fastest time ever. That was set in 1984, after Cambridge had written off their boat seconds before the race began. But in these calm conditions, even that record could be under threat. Well, that was earlier on this morning. I'm delighted to say that we're joined now at Putney Bridge by a treble Olympic gold medalist rower and a 5-times World Championship rower as well, Steve Redgrave. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Do you get enthusiastic and excited about Boat Race Day?
I used to, but not quite so much nowadays. It's a fun race. It gives our sport some publicity. Not always the right publicity, but it's good to have a bit of rowing on TV.
Yeah, it's a bit public school, isn't it? Doesn't it give rowing a bad reputation because you don't have to go to Oxford and Cambridge to get in a boat and row, do you?
Traditionally, that rowing was a public school sport, but that has completely changed now. That you've seen down here this morning, there's been hundreds of crews milling up and down, and most of them would have never gone to a public school at all. So the background of British rowing, the grassroots of British rowing, is very different to what it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
And in actual fact, the Boat Race Day last year was also the Head of the River Day, when there were thousands of crews down there.
That's right. Well, the Eights Head of the River has a maximum entry of 420 crews, all in eights. So that's a lot of people.
Now, you've got a big year coming up with Atlanta next summer. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what do you make of the crews today? Do you think Cambridge are going to be able to go for this triple?
Both crews have had a lot of problems in the last couple of weeks with illness and things like that. But I still think Cambridge should win. That I think conditions today are going to suit them better. I think Oxford would have preferred to have a little bit more wind, the rougher conditions, to try and upset Cambridge a bit. But they're certainly the stronger crew. They've got 5 internationals within their boat, and Oxford hasn't got any. So on paper, it should be Cambridge all the way. But you never really know.
What do you make, though, as a British rower, when you see all these internationals coming into the Cambridge boat and the Americans in the Oxford boat as well?
Well, it's always been part of it. People sort of see it each year and say, oh, isn't it bad? But if you look back through the record books, it's always happened. You've always had Americans, especially coming over to both universities over the years. And just sort of now and again, you get crews without any British people in at all. I think the Oxford boat last year only had 1 English guy in it. And so it sort of upsets the apple cart on a year-to-year basis. But if you look through the record books, it always happens.
Yeah. The bookies fancy Cambridge today. They're 4-to-1 on favourites. Where would your money be?
Well, those odds are not very good odds, really, are they? If you were trying to make any money out of it, you'd try and put some money on Oxford, but you'd probably lose it. And that's the big problem of betting on the boat race. Yeah. There's only 2 crews, so one of them's got to win.
Good each-way bet if you want it before noon today. Right. Now, tell us a bit about your preparations for Atlanta and the Olympics next year. You've got 3 gold medals behind you. You're the most successful British Olympian. Can you get a 4th one next year?
Well, I hope so. I haven't been training for the last 3 years to go to the next Olympics and not aim for another gold medal, and that's certainly the aim to do. It's only 16 months away now, so training is very hard. We're training very hard. Things have been going quite well. I've been struggling with a cold the last week, but I think everyone has. But yeah, we're happy with the way the situation is going. We're just coming into our international season starting at the end of this month, and I'm looking forward to another successful season.
Great. Steve, wish you all the best with your challenge at the Olympics next year. That's pretty much it from us for the time being. 20 past 10, in about an hour's time, we're going to be talking to the cocks that took Cambridge to victory last year. That's in about 50 minutes. But, Chris, the temperature's dropping down here, so I think I'll get my cap out again. Keep my head warm.
Cambridge further away. Before the big race, the Omens favoured Cambridge. Their second boat stormed home ahead of Oxford's Isis crew by some 40 seconds. And they won the toss, opting for the Surrey station. Oxford got the slightly quicker start and the first warnings for refusing to give ground on the Fulham Reach. At the Middlesex corner, the umpire called for the boats to part, warned Cambridge and watched as the Light Blues finally began to pull clear. The tactical aggression came from the Oxford Cox Abby Chapman, but the strength of the Cambridge rowers proved to be too great. As expected, the Light Blues finished ahead, but Oxford were far from humiliated. The difference, 13 seconds. Cambridge, the winners for the third year on the trot. Nigel Daring, Sky News.